His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa issued Royal Order 14 of 2025, ending the third session of the 6th legislative term of the Shura and Representatives Councils. According to the order, the third session of the 6th legislative term shall be concluded as of Tuesday, May 13th. His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, received at Skhir Palace the BDF Commander-in-Chief, Field Marshal Sheikh Khalifa bin Ahmed Al Khalifa, and BDF senior officers. His Majesty the King then delivered the following speech.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أيها الإخوة الكرام، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. يسعدنا مثل هذا اللقاءات المتواصلة التي تجمعنا بقواتنا المسلحة الأبية أن نعرب عن شكرنا واعتزازنا بما تقدمونه من مساعي نبيلة وجهود كبيرة في ميادين الواجب الوطني والشرف العسكري، إنما تبدونه جميعا من استعداد تام للبذل والعطاء والتضحية، وما تقومون به من أدوار مشرفة في حفظ مصالح الوطن العليا وقيمه العربية والإسلامية، لهو خير دليل على روحكم الوطنية العالية وعلى جاهزيتكم الدائمة للذود عن كل ما تزخر به البحرين من حضارة وعزة وتقدم. ولا عجب في ذلك، فأنتم درع الوطن الحصين وأبنائه الأوفياء والحافظون للعهد والأمانة، وهذا ما يجعلكم بحمد الله وعونه أهلاً لهذه المسؤولية الجليلة، وخير من يتولاها في مختلف الظروف. كما يطيب لنا أن نتوجه بالتحية والشكر لجميع منتسبي قوة دفاع البحرين البواسل من ضباط وضباط صف وأفراد، وعلى رأسهم معالي الأخ المشير الركن الشيخ خليفة بن أحمد بن سلمان آل خليفة، القائد العام لقوة دفاع البحرين، والذين يعملون بكل شجاعة وإتقان في مختلف مواقع عملهم النبيلة لتحقيق أمن الوطن واستقراره وتعزيز منعته ورخائه، مؤكدين لكم أن جهودكم المخلصة هي محل التقدير والدعم المتواصل، وستظل مصدر فخر واعتزاز لمملكة البحرين وأهلها الكرام، سائلين المولى عز وجل أن يعينكم ويوفقكم على طريق الخير دائما. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
His Majesty the King then held a lunch banquet in honor of everyone. The BDF receives the continuous support of His Majesty the King, the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, enabling it to make great achievements to serve and protect the nation. Since its establishment, His Majesty has been keen to ensure that this defense system is a pioneer in achieving stability and security. More in this report.
Since its establishment in 1968 by order of the late Sheikh Isa bin Salman Al Khalifa, the Bahrain Defense Force marked the beginning of a major civilizational breakthrough in the Kingdom of Bahrain's contemporary history, taking it upon itself the task of protecting its achievements and safeguarding its comprehensive development. Under the direct supervision and patronage of His Majesty the King, the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, the building blocks of this defense edifice were built and its pillars were established, which consisted of three main weapons, the first of which were the land forces with its various units, the Royal Bahraini Air Force and the Royal Bahraini Naval Force. The three components of the BDF have undertaken tasks that protect the country on land, sea and air and have made military achievements that place it among the ranks of advanced armies in the region. The BDF also has an important national role in protecting the kingdom's borders from any external aggression. The goals of establishing the BDF were a motivation to support brotherly and friendly countries based on common destiny and maintaining international peace and security. The fields of pride and dignity bear witness to the role of the BDF in supporting brothers and friends at all levels, and the Constitution of Bahrain clearly affirms that peace is the goal of the state, and the safety of the homeland is part of the safety of the Arab homeland. Defending it is a sacred duty for every citizen, and performing military service is an honor for citizens regulated by the law. Within the constitutional framework of the Bahrain Defense Force and the goals set since its establishment and during the prosperous era of His Majesty the King, the pillars of the BDF have been strengthened, enabling it to be an impenetrable fortress for the country and its citizens.
The personal representative of His Majesty the King, Chairman of the Supreme Council for Environment and Chairman of the Higher Authority for the Development of Hawar Islands, His Highness Sheikh Abdullah bin Hamad Al Khalifa, chaired the first meeting of the Higher Committee for the Development of Hawar Islands at Rafah Palace. This followed the issuance of Decree 115 of 2024, establishing the Higher Authority for the Development of Hawar Islands with the attendance of the authority's members. His Highness expressed gratitude to His Majesty for appointing him as chairman of the authority and appointing its members. He emphasized the importance of attracting more strategic tourism projects that add value and highlight Bahrain's unique environment and rich heritage, noting the strong support and attention the tourism sector receives from His Majesty the King and His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister. He highlighted Bahrain's many attractions, strengthened its position on the regional and global tourism map. He added that ongoing development projects carried out with precision and speed reflect the commitment of all tourism stakeholders towards sustainable growth. His Highness stressed the ongoing ambition to achieve further tourism achievements in the Hawar Islands to enhance Bahrain's status. He pointed out to the opening of the Hawar Resort, managed by Mantis, under the patronage of His Majesty the King, which is the first of 3 tourism projects under development supervised by the Higher Authority, showcasing Bahrain's identity. His Highness and the authority members reviewed plans and programs to set a strategic vision for developing the Hawar Islands to establish a model for sustainable tourism that maximizes the island's potential, enhances their appeal, creates quality opportunities for citizens, and supports the national economy. The meeting also covered updates on the General Master Plan for the Hawar Archipelago and results of environmental studies. The personal representative of His Majesty the King, Chairman of the Supreme Council for Environment and Chairman of the Higher Authority for Hawar Islands Development, His Highness Sheikh Abdullah bin Hamad Al Khalifa, issued Decision 7 of 2025 appointing 2 private sector representatives to the High Commission for the Development of Hawar Islands. According to the decision, the following individuals are appointed as private sector representatives to the High Commission for the Development of Hawar Islands: Ali Murad, Member, and Fatma Bashar Al Hassan, Member. The personal representative of His Majesty the King, Chairman of the Supreme Council for Environment and Chairman of the Higher Authority for Hawar Islands Development, His Highness Sheikh Abdullah bin Hamad Al Khalifa, issued Decision 8 of 2025 on establishing and forming the Executive Committee of the Higher Authority for Hawar Islands Development. According to the decision, an executive committee affiliated with Higher Authority for Hawar Islands Development shall be established under the chairmanship of His Highness Sheikh Abdullah bin Khalifa Al Khalifa with the following members: His Highness Sheikh Isa bin Abdullah bin Hamad Al Khalifa, Sheikh Mohammed bin Sabah Al Khalifa, Ali Murad, Deputy Chief Executive of Urban Planning and Development Authority, Deputy Chief Executive of Resources and Projects, Bahrain Tourism and Exhibitions Authority, representative of the BDF, representative of Bahrain Real Estate Investment Company, IDAMA, and Secretary General of the Higher Authority for Ahwar Islands Development. The committee shall be responsible for reviewing all matters referred by the Higher Authority for Ahwar Islands Development, preparing the necessary reports, and implementing the authority's resolutions and recommendations in coordination with relevant government entities concerning the development of Ahwar Islands. On behalf of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa attended the final match of the 49th Crown Prince Volleyball Cup. The match between Muharrar Club and Dar Chleib Club took place at the Isa bin Rashid Volleyball Hall, located at Isa Sports City in Isa Town. His Highness presented the cup to Muharrar Club following their win by 3-1, and His Highness also awarded medals to the winning team and the runners-up. His Highness affirmed that Bahrain's continued success in hosting and competing in local and international sporting events reflects the growth and development of the kingdom's sports sector. His Highness noted that this progress has been made possible through the unwavering support of His Majesty the King and His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister. He praised the exceptional performance of all participating clubs, highlighting their competitive spirit and the high caliber of the players, which reflects the advanced standard of volleyball in Bahrain. His Highness also highlighted the efforts made by the Bahrain Volleyball Association in the excellent organization of the tournament, wishing everyone continued success. He congratulated the board members of Muharrar Club and their fans on the victory, wishing them continued success. The Speaker of the Representatives Council, Ahmed Lemselem, chaired the weekly session yesterday, where the Council approved a draft law on regulating advertisements and another regarding the Bahrain Chamber for the settlement of economic, financial and investment disputes. The Council also approved a draft law on the Shura Council's decision to amend some provisions of the Penal Code and another on regulating the labor market. The Council then approved the annual report of the Financial Administrative Control Bureau for the year 2023-2024. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Abdul Latif bin Rashid Al-Zayani, participated in the 47th Extraordinary Meeting of the GCC Ministerial Council. The meeting was held under the chairmanship of Kuwait's Minister of Foreign Affairs, chairman of the current session of the Ministerial Council, Abdullah Al-Yahya, in the presence of the foreign ministers of GCC countries and with the participation of the GCC Secretary General Jassin Libdawi. The Council discussed topics on its agenda related to enhancing the process of joint Gulf cooperation and discussing the latest developments in the regional situation and issues of common interest. The Minister of Finance and National Economy, Sheikh Salman bin Khalifa Al Khalifa, in the presence of Ambassador to Saudi Arabia to Bahrain, Naif Al-Sideri, met with the CEO of the Saudi Fund for Development, Sultan Al-Murshid. The Minister emphasized the deep-rooted fraternal relations between Bahrain and Saudi Arabia, which forms a model of cooperation in various fields, thanks to the care and attention of His Majesty the King and the custodian of the two holy mosques. He pointed to the good efforts exerted by His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister and His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister of Saudi Arabia to continue developing the bilateral relations and meeting the aspirations of the two countries and their peoples. The two sides reviewed the progress of bilateral cooperation, especially in the financial and economic fields, noting Saudi Arabia's continuous support to development projects in Bahrain, which reflects the strong fraternal ties between the two countries. The Minister pointed out the importance of continuing on building on the achievements and pushing the aspects of cooperation further to achieve the desired goals. The Minister of Tourism, Fatma Sayrafi, delivered a speech at the third edition of Connections Luxury Bahrain, organized by Bahrain Tourism and Exhibitions Authority. The event was held on the participation of representatives from leading luxury travel and tourism companies from the UK, Germany, China and France. The Minister emphasized that Bahrain's hosting of the event reflects its advanced position as a leading luxury tourism destination on the global tourism map, noting the importance of this event in enhancing cooperation between international travel agents, Bahraini hotels and destination management companies in Bahrain. The Kingdom of Bahrain celebrates Bahraini Press Day, which falls on May 7th. Bahrain's press is the reference that documents all stages of the country's renaissance and progress, and the living memory that monitors and preserves all the success stories that Bahrain and its people have experienced over the years. The Bahraini national press has made significant contributions to the kingdom's progress and achievements in light of the support of the royal patronage of His Majesty the King and the continuous follow-up of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister. More in this report.
In Bahrain, the press is responsible for expressing sincerity and honesty in their writings, ensuring that the nation's march is carried out with a sense of responsibility and integrity. Bahrain's history has been marked by responsible freedom since the early 20th century, with the press documenting the country's steps towards the future, reflecting the country's significant transformations and changes. With the support and patronage of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, freedom of expression has become a cornerstone, and the right of access to information has become a key pillar in the country's comprehensive development by His Majesty the King. With his wisdom and vision, believed in the importance of the honest word, and that the press is a partner in construction and not just a carrier of events. The Bahraini press, from traditional printing to digital media, has consistently contributed to the country's development by modernizing its tools and engaging with its audience, ensuring its effectiveness and influence in the country's progress and development. Under the insightful vision of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, supporting the Bahraini press continues through initiatives that enhance the status of journalists and honor their efforts. The Prime Minister's Award for Journalism was the best evidence of this support, as it honors the purposeful word and stimulates creativity in media work.
Bahraini press is an important source for publicizing the most important national achievements in various political, social and economic fields, reflecting the development reality in a professional manner. More in this report.
Under the umbrella of modern legislation, the Bahraini press represents a responsible and national voice and an active partner in the march of development. The democratic environment in the Kingdom of Bahrain provided an opportunity for the press to flourish and become an influential tool and an effective contributor to promote development and democratic gains. Throughout its history, the Bahraini press has accumulated a wealth of rich experiences and followed a path that reflects a commitment to professionalism, honesty, and responsibility as a means of building and participating in the country's development by conveying the manifestations of civilization and urban development and highlighting national achievements. The development in press is a reflection of the continuous support that the national press enjoys due to the importance of its vital role in preserving the country's cultural identity and consolidating its developmental and democratic achievements. The Bahraini press today represents a model of intellectual pluralism and openness and reflects an effective presence in the public view. The Bahraini press contributed to strengthening community participation through its channels of expression and dialogue, making it a link between the official authorities and society, and a means of reflecting shared responsibility. The Bahraini press moves confidently towards the future, adapting to global transformations in media and adhering to professional charters in support of Bahrain's strategies to strengthen its media presence and establish a responsible press that keeps pace with the aspirations of the nation and citizens.